My name is Aisha. Welcome to One Elder Speaks. Today we're going to be talking about bullying, hierarchies, and colonization. Now, when I was a child, I was bullied. I had glasses, I was chubby, and I had a very prominent overbite. And this was in school, and so I was bullied. Um, and I thought that I was the only kid that was being bullied because I was so insulated in my head. I couldn't really see that other people were experiencing the same thing. But I thought it would get better as I jumped into junior high, and it did not, because junior high is a wreck of trying to find your social positioning. And I thought it would get better in high school, and then I thought it would get better when I got out into the real world. But you still find bullying being a real prominent part of the social world and the job world, all of it. Um, yeah. Okay, so it's all about building and designing hierarchies. Uh, I'm up here, you're down there, I'm prettier, you're ugly, I'm richer, you're poorer, I'm successful, and you're a failure. It's all about uh, a narrative, getting you to buy into a narrative that I'm better and you're worse. And that's the whole point of bullying, is to get you to buy into that narrative. And when you resist that narrative and refuse to feel like less, then these bullies will expend an awful lot of energy and an awful lot of time trying to convince you that you're less, and trying to convince you that you're not worthy. Mm-hmm. Your job is to maintain your energetic equality and your energetic humanity in the face of all these tactics. If you give them an inch, they will take miles. When I was young, I didn't read self-help books, so I didn't have access to therapy, and so I shrank, and I tried to disappear to cope with feeling less than. When I established my mental health journey and started dealing with these things kind of more hands-on, um, I began to find ways to cope with the bullying that I was being faced with. I mean, it changed over time as I gained my self-esteem. But I learned, one of the things that you learn is you can't give them an inch. And I'm going to give you an example. Hitler's expansionist plans started with the Rhineland, then the Sudetenland, then Czechoslovakia, then Poland. If you give an inch, they will take miles. It really does need to stop very, very early as a preventative measure. Now let's talk about hierarchies. Let's go back to the beginning of hierarchies. So in a tribal society, and especially hunter-gatherer societies, you don't really need hierarchies. We all know each other. We know what we're capable of doing. We know what we're competent at doing. And so we all know what needs to get done, and we do these things. You know who excels at stuff and who needs to learn certain things. And with the dawn of civilization, the start of agriculture, and the domestication of animals, you lack mobility and you get tied to an area, the land. You amass more yield and learn to preserve your overflow, and now you need protection and administrators and merchants to trade your goods, and you need walls, and you need soldiers, and you need legislation and rules, and on and on and on. And so we build up these institutions with the advent of agriculture and the domestication of animals, and stepping away from the hunter-gatherer situation. And And this sets up hierarchies. So you know the administrator is going to be over the other people, and then the soldier will be above them, and then the judge will be above them, and the church is going to jockey for position and try to take over control. And it's all about control, because there's always somebody at the top who's doing really fucking well. And there's always the vast majority at the very bottom being bled dry. The natural way of the world, in this world, okay, is this. So up and down, up and down, up and down. But what these institutions want to see is a straight line going up and up and up and up and up. That's not natural. That's not natural to this world. This is the third planet from the sun. So this is like this is representative of like a three-legged chair. This is the world of creation, but it's not the most stable world. And at any given moment, things can change, like in an instant. And whatever land that you're living on can become undoable. It can turn into, molten lava, or an earthquake can create real problems with what's available to you and what's not. In a world like this, a tribal society would understand that we build our homes and we cultivate our fields, but conditions may change, and we know that we may have to move at one point. But you're not tied to the land, so you don't own it. You live on it, and so they might have to pack up all their things, and they might have to move to a different part of the land. In a city or a civilized, in a traditional sense, you're tied to the land and you're bound to it, and you are invested in keeping your walls and your silos and your barns and your whatnot, so you can't move easily. You're not mobile. In a very changeable world, you are restricted and confined. Any change that is devastating to the land is devastating to you. Which type of society is more in alignment with the world that we live in? The one that can respond to change, or the one that is bound to a strip of land? Colonization brings with it the master-slave structure of civilization. If their technology for murder is more effective, they will be the master and you will be the slave. If they engage your fear and bully you into thinking that you are less, then they have won control over your society. If you stand for your sovereignty, they will squash you like a bug. They will attempt to, or they will do it. They rely heavily on bullying to maintain control. You will be assimilated into so-called civilization, or you will be destroyed. And I'm saying all of this to say bullying is systemic to modern civilization, and it has got to stop. It is not the proper way to interact with the collective, with one another. Great to say, but how do we stop it? And what we have to understand is civilization is built on bullying. Okay, so this is a generational trauma that we have to deal with. This is built into our institutions. This is built into our traditions. And we have to know that, in order for, to be surrounded by bullying, you learn to be a bully, okay? And recently, I've seen things in myself that I hadn't seen before, and I can say, I see now where I have bullied others. And I probably have done it in times where I didn't see that I was doing that, and I still have to recognize that. It was, being raised by a boomer. I was bullied from day one, and we all were. I don't know, probably not all. Sure, some people are more progressive and they're raising their kids, but this is not my experience, and certainly, unfortunately, was not the experience of my daughter. So, the bullying was a part of every aspect of this world. And so it's within me. So we have to look within ourselves and remember that bullies are made, not born and look to see where we have been a bully to others and a bully to ourselves. And that's huge too. We have to acknowledge that we have, and we have to start recognizing our behavior and taking responsibility for our behavior and start healing our own inner bully. We heal ourselves, and the outer world will follow suit. And I guess for me, and what I really want to see on a wide scale is for people to recognize when they're being a bully, or to recognize the thoughts before they begin to bully somebody else. I mean, this is the goal for me. I want to understand and recognize that in myself so that I can stop myself before that happens and change my behavior, because it's systemic. Okay, just like racism, it is built in to the systems and to the traditions that we have all been a part of. So we have to attack it here first. Before I can tell you that you need to deal on your bully, I got to deal with mine. We're not born to be bullies. We are born to live in balance and harmony to the best of our abilities. We are born to respect one another and to conserve one another. We have to consciously eradicate the bullying behaviors and the bullying thoughts behind the behaviors to herald a new way of living. And that encompasses a new way of building a society. Because what we've been doing is not sustainable. Not at all. That's all I got to say. Love and life.